Storygram Network.
Hosting for this podcast is generously provided by Transistor at transistor.fm.
Hi, my name is Laurelee, and this is It's Not About Food. So it's not about food, and it's not about weight. What is it about? Everything else, because it's never ever about food or weight, never ever, not even one time, not ever, ever, ever. Hello, everyone. This is Laurelee Roark from It's Not About Food. And today we are going to talk about expression and what a wonderful thing that is. So the front of the card is the goddess is sort of wiggling, maybe dancing. I'm pretty sure she's dancing and by the light of the moon. It's a beautiful image of her just doing her thing. And so is her deer. Her little deer animal is also dancing. And I don't know, it's a very joyful card, even though sometimes I feel like, to get all our courage up for expression, it doesn't always feel like we're dancing. It sometimes feels like we're walking through quicksand. But what it says on the back of the card is expressing our feelings and ourselves is the only way to live our truth in our bodies, hearts, and souls. Many times we have been taught that to express our feelings is harmful to others and ourselves. But if we learn how to express our feelings honestly and constructively, it is beneficial to everyone. And that is the key for me. I always thought if I said what I needed to say, others would be sad or mad or upset. And maybe that's their first reaction. But it is beneficial to tell the truth about things in a wonderful, loving, respectful, compassionately way, and honestly and constructively. I know that for me, when I will be strong enough or brave enough to say what my truth is and what I need and want and express my feelings, and without putting my feelings on those people, but this is my feeling, and that's just my feeling. Is if I'm here on earth, I get to have a feeling. So this is what it is. And it's a very dicey thing, I know, because, I was not taught to express my feelings. I was also not taught that other people could do it either, and that I could listen to it. So this was all a learning for me at some age that was not a little kid, which is, I feel like that's when I should have learned it, when I could understand it a little better. But anyway, so today I'm so happy to have Kim here with me today, who is a great image of not only in herself and in her life, but also in her art of expression. And so I'm really, really grateful she's here today, and I'm going to turn this over to her so that she can talk about expression, and we'll have a talk about that.
Well, good afternoon. It's nice to see your face and nice to hear your voice. It's always been a comforting thing for me. You happen to catch me on a pretty amazing day, a pretty poignant anniversary for me. Today, 12 years ago, I began a journey of a whole newfound way of expressing myself. Today is the day 12 years ago that I moved down to Santa Monica, actually.
And such a huge shift for you.
Huge. And with that journey came along with my feelings of so badly wanting to express myself, but I didn't quite know how I was going to do it. My journey started actually with you and all the amazing, beautiful women that we would meet with every week. And it started with that in terms of like things that bubbled up, and I was allowed to express myself in this safe space. And what happened as my journey continued is I did decide to make a change and to move completely by myself to Santa Monica. And through the years and learning what I deserved to have in my life and deserved to, how do I put it? Just learning different ways to just express myself. I felt more and more free to do so. And I didn't quite know how I was going to do it yet. I would do it verbally. I started doing a lot more photography, and then I started doing drawings and paintings and combinations of all of it. And now I sit here in present day 12 years later, and I'm looking at, well, I look around my entire home, and there are a lot of creations that I've made that I've been able to express myself through. And being able to do that, I think, is one of the biggest things health-wise I think we can all do for ourselves. And that's just, I guess, why I feel a lot more free in myself. And I feel like it's strengthened who I am, therefore strengthening all my relationships and my life in general.
Yeah. It's a beautiful way to put that. Somebody a long time ago said something like, if it's good for me, it's good for my family. It's good for my street, my neighborhood. It's good for my town. It's good for my city. It's good for my state. It's good for my country. It's good for the world. If it truly comes from that place. And that's exactly what you're showing all of us by what you did. You stepped into your power of, you have a need or a want and a desire to express yourself honestly. And look what you have done. I mean, it makes me cry to see it because it just unfolded from you, from your courage to step on that path.
Thank you. I have something here that really sat with me. I was having a discussion with a very good friend of mine, and in our conversation, she just blurted this out. And I said, stop right there. I want to actually repeat exactly what you just said. And so she texted it to me and she says, this is my best at sharing what I think I said to you. Uh-huh. But it really hit me. And I think it's really, if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and read it.
No, I don't mind.
He says, it's through the process of expressing ourselves. Not only is it cathartic, but it is also a powerful force in unearthing the unconscious stirrings that cannot otherwise be known or experienced.
Wow.
And it hit me because there were things inside that I had no idea even needed to come out, let alone how I was going to have them come out. But it really did. It unearthed and peeled away. It just helped me do all that. And it continues to do that. I feel grateful to have the avenue to do it.
It's beautiful. You created that avenue and you were around enough people who wanted to have that. They were on your same wavelength. These are your peers or your peeps or your community, and they wanted this and they saw it. And I would think that's probably, I know that we talked a minute ago about you showing your artwork in Rome, and that all the way there, people are going, oh my God, this is so great, in their like Italian language. It's beautiful.
Right.
So, and isn't that the perfect way to step into who we truly are, is to allow ourselves to express what's there. And then next year, there'll be more expression, and the next year, and whenever. I mean, we can do it our whole lives. And I don't know that, what were you eating in the kitchen over that you couldn't, what were you trying to squish down? All of this. That was going to change your life. And that was scary, probably.
Well, I think that's part of what needed to be unearthed.
Yeah.
I didn't really know, but I do know that, yes, it was very much so in the kitchen, trying to get that feeling and momentarily getting it with food, but not realizing even what I was trying to unearth, or that what I was going after, what was out there for me. I just knew that something else was, and that the avenues in which I was trying to express myself not only wasn't being received well, but wasn't encouraged in the climate of what my life was then. Whereas I come here and I do feel surrounded by creativity and inspiration, living next to the ocean and all these things that you hear that attribute to it, but you don't get it until you live it. Or that's how it has been for me. It was like, we'll see what happens, but yeah, it's a thing.
Or other people can do that. I can't be doing that. I have this house, or I have this family, or I have this job, or I have this, I can't do that. I can't just pick up and do that. But yeah, we can always be free.
Yes. and express our feelings of how we are, not feeling like there are any rules as to how you should be allowed to express yourself.
That's right.
And let's face it, most of those rules come from ourselves. And our boundaries, I feel like a lot of mine were what I felt I should or shouldn't do. That a lot of them came from me.
Storygram Network.
Welcome to One Media, One Media.
When you're whining with nurses.
It's a place I like to call The Bleed.
My name is Laurelee, and this is It's Not About Food.
The art of being yay isn't just something he developed.
Storygram Network.
Right. And that you learned somewhere along the way. This line in this card is, I was taught that to express our feelings would be harmful to others. And to challenge that idea, that this is going to be harmful for you, well, that's probably not the way to express it then. How can I express it in a way they may not like to hear what I said, but I think that it's better that we get to be honest with each other. And I need to be able to have that freedom to say what I need to say, and they need to have the freedom to say what they need to say. So one of the things that I was taught was that I couldn't say what I wanted to say or needed to say because I might hurt somebody's feelings by saying that. And I couldn't hurt somebody's feelings. I feel like I was raised to be a codependent, for sure, and worry about how everybody felt about everything, but of course not give any worry about myself, how I felt about anything. But I found that actually, if I will stay with I statements and I will express from my heart, consciously and compassionately and respectfully, then I get to say what I need and want. And if the person gets their feelings hurt, then let's talk about that.
Right.
And let me hear that. And let's go back and forth like grown-ups and do it.
And you know what? I found that that's exactly what people want.
Yes.
They're okay. It's like, I feel the same way. I'm okay to get bad news, or I'm okay. But if it's honest, then exactly what you just said, then we have a chance to talk about it.
That's right.
Instead of just having a fake relationship, or if, it could be as simple as, does this shirt look better or does that shirt look better?
Exactly.
Thinking that thinking they like that shirt, but you actually realize that one looks better. If that even makes sense.
No, it does.
My point is that we really do say what's in our heart. That's real stuff. And that's love. And not being afraid, like you said, not being afraid. That's huge.
And this is, again, the part of our culture, or this is how I was taught in the culture that I lived in, which was, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. And whatever you're going to say is probably not going to be nice. So don't say anything.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I felt very unsure because I was always trying to second guess how people were going to take what I was going to say. What were they thinking? What were they feeling? Without really even knowing what they were thinking or feeling. We were always talking at each other instead of with each other, I feel.
Right. And how better to understand each other than if we are actually speaking the truth and expressing ourselves in an honest way. There's obviously gentle ways of putting things, which, there's that line, I think, that I never want to destroy somebody's ego or make them feel bad about themselves. But if somebody is asking a point blank question, and if I feel close enough to them and love them enough, then I try to be as honest as I can.
Exactly.
I struggle with it sometimes. I don't want anybody to not like me or to be mad at me or to think I'm being mean. So I have my times,
I know, it's true. Well, we're human. We forget that we're human, and that we make mistakes. But the great thing about making mistakes is you can say, that was a mistake. I made a mistake the other day. I said this and I'm sorry. And this is what I meant. But I shouldn't have said blah, 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 because that's not really how I feel. I feel like this. And this is really good communication skills that I didn't get that class when I was little. I just didn't. and it wasn't given and I didn't get it. And if it was given, I was not there that day,
Right. Well, even the term expression, I feel that the word expression isn't always something that we have to define or that we can define. And I'm putting this in the context of sometimes I will create something, whether it be a drawing or a type of photograph or a combination of all of it. And sometimes it's very dark. And sometimes it's very light. And it's not necessarily that when I'm in a dark mood that I create something dark. And I'm talking about the mood, not necessarily the color. But sometimes it just needs to come out. And I just need to express that. And I'm not sure what it's expressing. All I know is there's stuff in there that needs to come out. And I think that comes with even expressing ourselves through our body, let's say through dance or through crying. Sometimes they're happy tears, sometimes they're sad tears. Or I just feel that all of it is so freeing and so healthy. So that word just to me just means so much. And it was just my favorite card ever.
Well, and it's something that you have taken and run with, that's for sure. Everything that I feel that you do is expression. Your art and your photography, and I know you sing, and, just, again, it's sort of like making this claim that I need to express who I truly am, knowing that things will change. It always does. It's always going to change. And I don't know, just knowing somebody who they truly are is much better for me than knowing somebody who they're trying to pretend that they are because they don't want to hurt my feelings. I'd rather just, let's have it. Let's have a discussion about this. I mean, in these days of such polarization in the country, again, are we even understanding where the other person is coming from? I think sometimes we're not. We don't see that point of view at all. Right. So it doesn't mean that I even agree with it, but I don't even want to see it.
And if we could only all express ourselves as freely and easily and honest as a child.
Yes.
I mean, now with all my grandchildren, my conversations with them are amazing and I'm learning so much from them. And I think passing the message along to them, like, don't lose that. I wish there was a way I could just do, stay exactly that mindset. That's perfect.
Yeah.
It's genderless. It's just free and just so honest. And like I said, I'm learning so much from them on how to better communicate and express myself as well.
It's so true. I remember driving my grandchild around, my granddaughter, and she just wanted to know where we were going. I told her, and she said, I don't want to go there. And I said, well, that's too bad. We're going there. we have chores to do, and this is what we're doing. And she started crying. I said, what are you crying about? She goes, I don't want to be a little girl that gets driven around and has no say over where she's going and have to sit in this stupid child seat and be all strapped in. I just don't want to have this be. And I thought, wow.
Yeah.
This is how you already feel at 5.
But the honesty in telling you that.
But the honesty.
She felt safe. Yeah.
And what it gave me was like, stop the car. I understand completely what you're saying. I, too, did not want to be driven around without any say in my life. And gave it to her. Yeah, this is really a hard thing. If you're aware of it, it's really a hard thing, and you are aware of it. And I'm really sorry, and we still got to go to the grocery store.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, just like
it.
what you're saying, these out of the mouths of babes, when they actually are able to tell the truth or put it into words, it's just beautiful.
We need that to get each other's perspective.
Absolutely.
And I think even parenting is done, like you said before, it was you don't say anything, you don't complain, you just do as you're told and things like that. And I really have to say I give this generation of parenting a lot of credit for their patience in sitting down and saying, okay, go ahead and express yourself. Let's see what you're feeling. And it doesn't mean that we cater to every single exact need. But what it does do, I'm finding, is it makes them feel empowered. It makes them feel respected. And therefore, it goes both ways.
Yeah. And it's like what you said a minute ago. It gives them a voice. Who doesn't need a voice? Even if you can't talk, you need a voice. They're teaching little babies how to do sign language.
Isn't that amazing?
I know. Give them a voice. Are they even hungry? They get to say, I'm tired, I'm sad, I'm whatever. And we give them tools to say that when they can't speak yet. It's amazing to me. I would have never thought of that in a million years when I was little or when I was raising my child 1,000 years ago.
Let's look at the simple act of even when a baby is nursing, right? The nursing on demand thing, I think, is amazing. And look at back when we were told to eat everything on your plate or those types of things, and not being able to express our physical fullness, let alone our emotional fullness or emptiness. And that's, I think, something, I have to give it to this generation of parents that are really recognizing that and giving that a lot of thought. Pretty cool.
No, it's really the truth. Yeah. I see my son and daughter-in-law raising their kids is much different than I was raised or even how I raised him. And my niece, or as the grandchildren get older and start to have families of their own, it's like we get better every generation, it feels like. I feel like I was a better mom than my mom was, and my daughter-in-law is way better mom than I was. If you can learn through these things, it's fabulous. And we need the expression of each other and ourselves to be able to do that. Well, so beautiful to talk to you. And I wonder if you will say that last part of Today I Will experiment.
Today I will experiment with different ways to express my feelings when they come up. I will let myself cry, laugh, get angry, excited, or have any other feelings that arise. And I will experiment with constructive ways to express them, such as writing, drawing, walking, talking, breathing, or other ways that work for me.
Oh, and again, your art is so beautiful in the expression that it's saying. And I just have loved everything I've seen of yours. And, the spiral is very sacred to me, too, of this journey.
I look at that and it makes me smile. So there's definitely a connection there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
And that, it's all an inside job from the inside to the outside. And
absolutely.
Recently I was in Turkey and I was walking around some ruins and I saw that spiral. There was an image of a woman, very voluptuous woman holding like a round object, and the object was a spiral.
Ooh.
I know, which it was like 200 BC,
Ooh, wow.
So
that's fantastic. Oh my gosh, that's so wonderful.
So these images have been around a really long time, and they're in our DNA. We know what it is to express ourselves and to remember that it comes from us inside out. And we also can receive from other people's inside out. We can hear everybody's body, mind, and soul speaking to us. And I'm very grateful to know somebody who's just naturally doing that kind of art.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. And I'm honored to be here today and talking with you. And thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, thank you very much. And I'll see you in LA.
Yeah, sounds wonderful.
Hopefully.
You definitely must let me know when you're in LA. I'd love to have you come visit or meet you or whatever.
I'd love to do that. Let's do it. Okay.
For sure.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Laurelee.
Be well.
You too. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening. And be sure and follow me on Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and itsnotaboutfood.com. Thanks.